welcome to another episode of the latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to be having a conversation with actor Jeffrey Pierce. Thank you so much for being on my show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
So, my first question for you is, what in your life brings you the most joy?
My daughter, without question. And then my dog. My wife is in there too. Maybe she's right in the middle of the two, but just in terms of like pure joy, my daughter, my dog, my wife, those three things.
Oh, I love that.
Easy answer.
Yeah. Is there something from your childhood that you often find yourself nostalgic for?
Not too much. I mean, the joy of being an actor is that you get to hold on to all of that freedom of childhood and apply it to what you do for a living, which is there's nothing better in the world. So I think that I've figured out how to live my life in a way where I'm able to engage all of my childhood dreams on a daily basis.
I love that. That's awesome. So what, no matter how many times you see it, always takes your breath away?
Oh boy, a lot of things. Art in general, like you can't go see Picasso's work without getting your breath taken away. Great films, The Godfather, Godfather Part 2, Apocalypse Now, those things take my breath away every time. Just about everything that Marlon Brando ever did. Yeah, that you can't come to those things and not start to see your own humanity within them.
Oh, cool. So if you could eliminate one thing from your daily schedule, what would it be and why?
Screen time. I have been fighting my own private war against my screen time over the past 2 or 3 weeks, trying to get it cut down to like a reasonable number. And for me, it was like 3.5 hours a day. I'm like, what could I possibly be doing of any worth for 3.5 hours on my phone? So I'm trying to get that down to like an hour at maximum. And it's difficult. I mean, we have become addicted to our screens, and I try to tell my kid, like, look, this is not, you can't live within your device. And I'm trying to present a good example by getting my time down to a minimum. It's really, I think, the worst thing that was ever invented. As I talk to you on my screen on my Apple phone. Yeah, good times.
So who is one person in your life who has had a big impact on you?
There's one person in my life who's had a big impact on me. That is an interesting question. I had a stretch of time in my career where I had kind of lost the reasons why I started doing it. And sort of the simple joy of the work and really putting that into play and just loving the process. And then I did a video game called Call of Duty World War II and met some just incredible cast of actors. But one of them, a guy named Jonathan Tucker, helped me fall back in love with the process of acting. And so I think in terms of where things have gotten for me in terms of my approach and in my sort of just professional world, I'm grateful for Tucker for his sort of unbridled enthusiasm for the craft that got me excited about it again. It's easy to lose sight of why we do this. I mean, it becomes about, okay, I just need to get the next paycheck. I need the next job, as opposed to, I'm an artist and I'm going to pursue this with passion and force and, constant effort, and have the process be the satisfying thing. And maybe it leads to a job, and maybe it just leads to, an experience.
Cool. Yeah. Just when you mentioned Jonathan Tucker, I'm actually a huge fan of his. So.
Oh, he's fantastic. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have any irrational fears?
Do I have any irrational fears? Fortunately not. I have a good imagination, like a really good imagination. So I have worked hard to keep my fears in the rational realm. And so it is by choice, not necessarily by nature, that I've been able to keep irrational fears at bay.
That's impressive. Yeah, I feel like I have many that my mom and my sister always have to remind me that's not rational. That is probably most likely not going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's the like what I find with that kind of moment is the second you start to walk down that path, it just snowballs. And sometimes it's very difficult to pull yourself back from that irrational fear as soon as you let that first step happen. So I've learned to not take the first step.
Yeah. Well, that is very impressive. So what 3 words best describe you?
What 3 words best describe me? I guess it's an interesting question. I have found, in the course of my life, that you have to decide who you want to be, and then you have to make choices from that place. And that if you don't decide early how you want to be in the world, life will define you with sudden surprises. And if you don't create habits that keep you where you would like to be, under duress, you can just fall to pieces. So I, very sort of early in my career as an actor, thought, okay, well, how would I want to be if I became successful? If money was no longer a problem, if life was perfect and it was just one job to the next, how would I want to be in the world? And I would want to be generous, and I would want to be courageous, and I would want to be a positive force wherever I went. And I was like, okay, if I want to be courageous and generous and a positive force, I just need to try to do that on a daily basis and have that be habitually who I am, so that when things are difficult, I make those choices instead of different ones. And that has served me well. And I hope that the people that I come in contact with, the people that I work with, would see those qualities as something that I sort of try to bring to the table. I'm not sure anybody's born innately with all of the positive traits that they wish that they had. I think that you have to find ways to encourage those things within yourself and make choices in that direction. Because I think we're all capable of sort of that type of way of being in the world. We just have to be careful what we choose to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. Yeah. I like that answer. Yeah. Um, so what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
Mm, probably a drama to some degree. Um, maybe a little bit absurdist. I wish it was like a romantic comedy, but yeah, probably not that. Um, it just is. It's not quite exciting enough to be a thriller or an action movie. Hopefully, because God forbid. But yeah, it would just be a nice, quiet dramedy. I think like most people's, it
Yeah,
would be a dramedy.
I like that. Um, so what songs always make you sing along whenever you hear them?
Oh boy, just about anything by Toots and the Maytals, which is an old reggae, the godfather of ska reggae. Toots died. It was my least favorite person to die during COVID. I mean, he's my favorite person. It was the least pleasing that it got him.
Yeah,
But he was absolutely amazing. So much joy and passion in what he did. I can't hear his music and not smile.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. Um, yeah, just this morning I was listening to music and there's this one song that I realized whenever it comes on, I will, no matter how long it's been since I've heard it, I will sing it at the top of my lungs. So it's like this is what I needed this morning because I
What
was
song?
it's called It Is What It Is by Jamie Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will put that on my playlist. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, no matter how long it's been since I've heard it, I will always sing that at the top of my lungs.
We should all have 100 songs on a playlist that are just those songs, so
Yeah.
that when you're, getting hit by the world, you can just hit play and get
Yeah.
changed by that art. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
power of art, right? That's
Yeah.
the goal of the artist, is to be able to affect and change society. And it's
Yeah.
great that music can do that and that we have access to it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so what can always make your day better if you're having an off day?
We adopted a Mastiff Labrador mix at the beginning of COVID. And she is the most ridiculous dog you've ever met in your entire life. She's like 85 pounds and she thinks she weighs 3 pounds, and she likes to climb up and give like full body hugs and like forehead nuzzles, and like she's just ridiculous, like a cartoon. And anytime that I am off, I can go find her and get a little bit of affection, and like it changes the entire dynamic.
Oh, I love
Dogs
that.
rule. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the best.
I love that. Yeah, that reminds me of my dog. Yeah, she thinks she's a lap dog when she's not. She'll just climb on your lap and sit there.
Yeah, there's magic in that.
Yeah, there is. Um, so what is your proudest accomplishment so far?
Well, I think professionally, there's The Last of Us being a part of that, because of the way that it has resonated as a game within the culture in terms of storytelling, in terms of really moving a generation of audience of interactive players. That's been a powerful experience. Um, but in terms of like life in general, you know, there is incredible joy in my kid. Like that's what it's all for. That's why I go to work these days. It is it is a powerful experience to have this person in the world who is so good at what she does and smart and sharp and kind and caring. And it just is, I feel like the luckiest parent in the world to have her. So those two things are that I don't need more than that in this world
I
as a
love that.
legacy.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I am pop culture obsessed, and I go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. So right now I'm watching Grimm and Suits.
Yeah.
Is there a show that you're currently obsessed with?
Let's see. I'm not binging anything right now. Like I have been I've been introducing my daughter to Wes Anderson movies. So we watched Rushmore, and we've watched Grand Budapest Hotel, and and we watched Groundhog Day. So she's getting like a full dose of Bill Murray, which is great. So I've been trying to watch movies more than TV recently. But yeah, I'm not binging any shows right now. The last one we did was all summer. We watched Gilmore Girls.
Oh, that is one of my favorite shows.
That was great. I had never seen it. I was so missing out. I had no idea.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with that show.
Yeah.
So, well, since you're watching a lot of movies right now, is there one that has been your favorite that you've seen?
I hadn't watched Rushmore in a long time, and it ages perfectly. It's still brilliant. So yeah, Rushmore has been the most fun to sort of revisit in this period.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, the quote that is inspiring me is, "It's amazing how peaceful life gets when you decide what lies ahead is better than what you're leaving behind." Is there a quote that inspires you?
Well, man, we are there. Things are dark right now in the world. I don't know that I don't know that the world has ever been lighter than it is today. It may have always been this dark. We're just aware of it all the time. But I think the only one that really speaks to that is that you have to be the change you wish to see in the world. If you can't be it in yourself and carry that with you, then change is not likely to happen anywhere. And if everybody, by some miracle, decided just to be the way they wish the world was for themselves and their children, all of a sudden the world would change dramatically. But until we do that, I think we are caught in a bad human cycle.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I have just been I know, along with a lot of people, having so much anxiety lately. So yeah, I've been just trying to distract myself with other things so I don't get like stuck in my head and stuck in a tailspin of panicking.
Yeah, I think that the best advice that there is that you can't control anything besides yourself. Yeah. That other than that, there's nothing in the world that you have any control over. So if you can, on your own, control what you can, which is you, and be a light and be positive and be loving and generous in the world and be all the things that you wish that everybody was.
Yeah.
Then maybe you'll change one or two people and they'll do that too.
Yeah.
But you can't control the headlines. You can't control the things that are going on all over the world. You can control yourself, and you can carry yourself as you wish that everybody else did. And that gives you some control and it keeps you out of the sort of tailspin. If you're trying to control things that are outside of your sphere of influence, it is very dangerous territory because you just can't.
Yeah.
It all starts with you. It all starts with me. It all starts with all of us as individuals. What we do to be good people in the world is the biggest impact that we can have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was so much fun talking with you. Thank you so much. I just really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mai. Really an absolute pleasure to meet you. You are an inspiration, and I wish you great continued success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.